This episode is sponsored by UPMC Altoona Elite Orthopedics and the UPMC Sports Medicine Concussion Program. UPMC Altoona Elite Orthopedics and the UPMC Sports Medicine Concussion Program are proud to support youth sports across our region and proud to sponsor the 2022 High School Football Preview on the Altoona Mirror YouTube channel. To learn more about their board-certified orthopedic surgeons, their specially trained concussion management experts, and the wide range of orthopedic conditions they treat, or to schedule an appointment in one of their facilities in Hollidaysburg, Ebensburg, or Bedford, visit upmcaltoona.com/ortho or call 814-889-3600. That's 814-889-3600.
Sounds good.
I still think I should have an Italian name segment and then a regular name segment. Anyway, can we see my twin shirt there, TC?
Yep.
Stands for, what's it stand for, Andy?
Twin Cities.
No, or, if a girl asks?
Oh, too cute.
Too cute.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
I mean, that would be me anyway.
Anyway, we'll hide the pins right here. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to week 4 of the high school football season here at the Altoona Mirror on Mirror TV on YouTube. I am joined again by my two favorite high school football people at this time of year, the Guru, which I'm hoping somebody will make us a t-shirt that Mike can wear and we'll sell them, called the Guru. Mike Boydum's with us, and the younger Guru, the junior Guru, you could call him, Andy Stine. I'm Scott Franco. Before we start, we're very happy this weekend. We got so much stuff given to us. It warms my heart. It warms my heart. It's not because the Mirror building is always warm this time of year. But the first one I want to show is, and this one was dropped off by the Glendale Athletic Director, John Matchok. And I do. Andy's going to find out for us. I think this was homemade. But this is the Glendale. And I want to actually see if we can get one of the Dublers to sign that.
That'd be cool.
Because I think that would be cool. Or Spank, we could get Coach Trexler to sign
cool
it.
Too.
But thank you to Glendale people, Michael.
And we could also get Spank to update his stats on Max, perhaps.
That would be more important than signing this. But Spank, if I could get the blessing of the Glendale brethren, I could just take some white out and just put a big G right there. But anyways, Glendale people, thank you. We're going to hang that up.
I should see John Matchak this weekend, and I will ask him about that.
We have his blessing. And then this one, we should get a drum roll for this one. We got Bellwood stuff. We got 3 Bellwood. So Mike gets one. Andy gets one. I get one.
Let's go.
I do. I just do. I think it's so.
I feel like we should start waving these like terrible towels.
Oh yeah, unless it's against Tyrone.
Well,
I will not be invited into my brother's abode over Christmas if I would do that. But these are really nice too. I mean, look at the graphic on that. I thought.
Well, I do have to say, I picked a really bad pick and had Kerwinsville to beat Bellwood last week. I've been looking maybe I've been looking at the stats too much and not concentrating on really important things like cool names and stuff like that. So maybe I need to change my outlook here, and maybe it'll help me on the picks and stuff.
Yeah. And in our last flag, even though he really meant well, our boss, our friend, our coworker Buck Frank, he was trying to join in. And Andy won't remember this, but Mike will remember this a couple of years ago when we were getting cups. Neil Rudell, our big boss, got us a Baltimore Ravens cup to go with our high school cups. And it was like, I didn't really want to put it on the show because it wasn't a high school cup. But, he did hire me, so I felt I owed it to him. But anyways, Buck Frank gave us a pit towel.
That's right, upside down.
Oh, look.
That's what it should be.
Sorry about that. But hey, Buck was at the Pitt, Tennessee game. Buck's daughters went to Pitt and everything. Buck's become a big Pitt fan, but I thought I'd at least put it on here, and then Mike told me to do that.
Who won that game?
Tennessee.
Rocky Top.
Actually, Dan, you can sit there and go, that sound you make with that whee, like that. You just add that right from the Warner Brothers collection. Okay, let's get right to the fun stuff here, the football stuff. Couple nice matchups here this week. This first one looks scary, even though both teams were 3-0. State College 3-0 and Altoona 3-0. And before I say this, and Mike didn't ask me, he says, you got to read Mike's preview this week for the Altoona State College game, because State College's coach, I believe, is very confident about his team. That's my teaser for that. Mike, what's Altoona's chance in this one?
Altoona is 3-0, but they were 3-0 last year, and we know how that season turned out. It was not a good year for Altoona last year, but part of that was they really were a beat-up 3-0. This year, they're healthy 3-0, but will that matter against State College? That's the question. I think if this game doesn't turn out in Altoona's favor, it's not necessarily an indicator that Altoona isn't a good team. I just think that State College has developed since that game where they lost to Altoona in 2020 into one of the best 6A teams in the state. They were in the Final Four in 6A last year. They're 3-0 this year. They've just had two really impressive wins, and then they went down to Downingtown East and won that game. They went for 2 at the very end to win that game. I mean, State College is an elite level program right now at 6A. So that's what Altoona's facing this week. I know it's the rivalry of Altoona State College, and that makes it seem like, hey, it's just Altoona State College. We can win this game, but if they don't win this game, it's not something to get discouraged about, because State College is way up there right now.
How much can Altoona have, find comfort in the fact that they're home? Does that make any? Just because this seems like such a tall task for them.
I would take any home game that I could for sure. And 3-0 versus 3-0. You can never be too confident, even if you're State College.
Okay, speaking of confident right now, good segue word there. Penn Cambria 3-0, coming off a nice win over Central, and they're hosting Bishop Guilfoyle 2-1. And as Mike and I were talking before, last year BG hosted this game, and a lot of people picked BG, and Penn Cambria won this game. Now Penn Cambria 3-0. Penn Cambria is looking like a special season is on the horizon there. I got to think BG, though, feels pretty confident about this.
Well, when I talked to Coach Felix, he said this was kind of the game that turned things around for them last year. They made it to the district championship. Now they're 3-0. They just beat Central. Last year, this was kind of a coming out party for Penn Cambria. They said, hey, we want to be able to compete with the top teams in Laurel Highlands, and they were able to beat BG. But now, BG is going to want this game even more. There's a ton of BG Penn Cambria ties. Justin Wheeler is a Penn Cambria guy.
Works up there, yeah.
And, another, just like last week when Central played Penn Cambria, Carson Kiesewetter and Garrett Harrell were both on the front cover of the Blitz. These are the 3 top guys in our Blitz coverage area at quarterback, and this is another key matchup here, because if BG loses this one and goes to 2-2, their window to win the Laurel Highlands is pretty much shut.
Especially because they still have Bedford and Richland ahead on their schedule. And the Herald boy, who not only throws the ball well, runs the ball well. Andy, when you played, how much did you hate playing a team that you had to worry about a quarterback that not only could throw, but he would take off? He just turned into a giant running back.
It's hard to prepare for. You never really know, and you can never really stop playing until you see him throw the ball or run the ball. It's very tough to prepare for.
Do you think this is a good spot, though, as a letdown, because that was such a big win over Central?
I know that you think it.
That was my way of getting Mike to say that. You'll have to read the paper Wednesday morning to see who I picked. That's all I'm saying.
I think the lines will play a big role in this one too. The BG line did pretty well against Central. Obviously dominated at Somerset last week, but it's going to be a big test for them because Penn Cambria's got a lot of big boys.
Our next game, we're talking Central 1-2 at Forest Hills 0-3, and then before I ask Mike here, Forest Hills played Richland so well in that first game. I thought, wow, that's going to be something. And then last week, Friday night, the Forest Hills Ridge game was on TV here in the Mirror newsroom, and Chestnut Ridge just moved up and down the field on Forest Hills. I mean, I got to think Central's going to be able to bounce back in this one.
Yeah, but Forest Hills has played well other than that Chestnut Ridge game this year. They've had a tough schedule, and it's just tough because I was really caught off guard by that Chestnut Ridge game, but maybe that says something more about Chestnut Ridge than it does Forest Hills. Central is not used to losing, but right now, Central in the Mirrors coverage area has the worst defense among all teams. They're allowing a ton of points, and that's not characteristic of this team and these athletes, because in the past, even though we all talked about their offense last year, one of the reasons they were so good is because their defense was good, and they just gave up chunk plays against Penn Cambria.
You were there last week.
In very important situations. They had him in 4th and long a few times, and Penn Cambria was able to convert. That's going to be something that they need to button up if they're going to make another postseason run.
Are you surprised Central is 1-2?
Absolutely, but you could make the argument. I don't even know how much of an argument it is that they've had the toughest schedule out of anybody in our area. Yeah,
and they also could have been technically. And I remember I watched that entire Central BG game on TV. They could be 0-3. Which I can't even believe I said that. Yeah. I had goosebumps from saying I'm afraid to drive through the Cove now.
The Richmond game was a one-touchdown game, so they very well could have been 2-1.
Yeah, maybe. Or even 3-0. Yeah. Anyways, our next game, this is weird to see Juniata Valley with the words 1-2 in front of it. Claysburg-Kimmel 1-2 versus Juniata Valley 1-2. And this is kind of cool. They're playing this game at Williamsburg, which has the co-op with Juniata Valley. What are you expecting from this game, Mike?
Well, this is an important game for these teams because both of them want to try to get into contention in 1A, and both the 1A field is just wide open this year, so they can both still make a run at 1-2, but they need to start getting some wins. This could be a special night for the kids that go to Juniata Valley that are from Williamsburg, because some of these kids have never played on that high school field at Williamsburg because this is their last season there was 2020.
The COVID season, which wasn't much of a...
And so these kids haven't had a chance to play on that field. They're going to be under the lights playing in their hometown for the first time. Andrew McMonagle's had a really good season for Juniata Valley. He's one of those Williamsburg kids, and you got to think that he's fired up for this game. It should be a good game because Cole Claycomb is having a great season for Claysburg-Kimmel this year too. So those are two guys to watch for in that game.
And then our last game here we're going to talk about, this one at Butler 2-1 at Hollidaysburg 0-3. I mean, there's nothing here I'm lying about, but Hollidaysburg, I mean, it's so many years I was with that program. I can't believe they're 0-3. I thought they might have 1 or 2 wins in this. What have you found out about Butler here in your research this week for this game?
Well, they have, first of all, they're not going to the playoffs this year because they were in District 10 playoffs for a while. They're banned from that, and they're not in the Whippy, because they're still a WPIAL team, but they had permission to play in the District 10 playoffs. So I kind of wonder, Andy, if you went into a season knowing no matter what you did, you weren't going to go to the postseason, would that affect the way you looked at the outlook?
I'd never been in that position before, but I would think if there was no chance of me making the playoffs, it's a lot of my motivation to even play the whole season, play the season out. I mean, a lot of it's gone right there. I mean, of course you play because you love the game, but at the same time, it's when there's no reward at the end, I mean, what are you playing for?
Well, with that said, Hollidaysburg is dealing with a ton of injuries that they suffered against State College, and that's really the question in this game. Who who's going to be healthy and who's going to play. Like
quarterback Tucker Rossman. We don't know. Nick Berkey.
Elijah Ransom banged up.
That's one of their big linemen, that kid named Hunter Albright. Didn't play last week, I was told. But my question I wanted to ask you, because I didn't get to ask one, were you ever on a Mo Valley team that started 0-3? And if you're 0-3, are you already thinking about wrestling at that point, or are you still trying to think about football?
The thing is, I was 0-3 going into Glendale week my senior year, and we lost that one too. So that was tough because we came from a winning program for the most part. So. I still wasn't exactly looking forward to wrestling season. I don't think the basketball players were looking forward to basketball quite yet either. I think they wanted to make a little bit of a run, but I hope that's the same deal at Hollidaysburg right now.
Yeah, and these 12th and 11th graders at Hollidaysburg, they've been on 2 District 6 championship teams the last 2 years. So
and Central Mountain's also 0-3.
Yeah, and they're the only 2 teams. So I'm sitting there thinking, and I asked my son, because he played for Howard Electric, I said, do you think he will go to the playoffs and play this game? Because I'm sitting there, coaches don't do it, but I don't. The players do it. I count wins. I sit there and look at that schedule and go, okay, where are their wins coming from? Central Mountain, they thought they were a year early last year.
I think it was always in the back of your head, like, this is a winnable game for sure.
Yeah. Let's go into our fun stuff we do now. First thing we're talking about is Mike's Stat of the Week. I see he has a little piece of paper here written down, so I'm curious to see Mike's Stat of the Week. Stat of the Week.
Stat of the Week. It is the Stat of the Week.
There you go.
Great. Okay. So this week I wanted to talk about Portage sophomore Bodie Leo, and that's Leo L-A-Y-O, not like the Glendale Leo.
L-E-Y-O.
So he's only caught 5 passes this year, but all 5 passes have been touchdowns, and he's averaging 35.6 yards per catch. So big play potential there for Bodie, and hey, that's kind of a cool name.
It is kind of
a cool name.
But could we call him Money?
He just
they should tell him Money. He's not yet, because we still have to do Stine's line.
I'm giving it a shot.
We can go on Stine's line. Anyways, I don't want to get sued by the record company. Go ahead. Stine's line.
Short steps. Short steps are better than long steps.
Okay, so I had to apologize to Scott Gummo earlier this season. Well, I'm even going to do you one better, Scott, because Tyrone, the defensive line is my line of the week. I'm switching it up this week. I did get the chance to see this one last week. Tyrone held Phillipsburg to 1 first down for the game, 23 total yards. Just an impressive effort from those guys. Their defensive line starters are Dylan Brower, Braden Ewing, Ross Gamp, Andrew Weaver, John Stanton. I believe Ewing and Gamp both had sacks in that game. Outstanding effort for those guys. And an honorable mention, shout out to Tyler Laub. Michael Keith made him the lineman of the week for Mo Valley in that win over Glendale last week. So good job to all those guys.
Is the Stanton kid the 9th grader?
I believe so.
That's what it is. Yeah, I was told that he's just an unbelievable specimen for a 9th grader. And the Ewing kid is a really good wrestler.
Yes.
As a 9th grader, he
bonus
was like
points.
Yeah, but as a 9th grader, he was like wrestling for titles in tournaments. And
Ewing was the district runner-up, I think, in wrestling last year. So bonus points if you're a lineman and a heavyweight, because you know how much I love those linemen. I really love heavyweights.
How about bonus points that I actually knew something about high school wrestling?
That's impressive.
Sorry to depress Todd Irwin and John Hartsock if they're watching here. But that leads to everybody, let's be honest now, the most talked about segment of our show, the famous part, the cool name segment.
Let's go, Mike.
I wanna know what's the name of the game.
There we go. Okay, our first one, good thing is we're talking about Tyrone, guys. Tyrone's got the cool name this week, Rocky Romani.
That is a great name.
He's a kicker for Tyrone. I went to high school with a girl named Lana Romani. Loved her. She lives in Florida now. She's a big Tampa Bay Rays fan. I hope she's cousins with this kid. But Rocky Romani, kicker from Tyrone. And then I love alliteration. I'm very big on alliteration. Northern Bedford lineman Brock Beach. Brock Beach. When Gary comes in, hopefully Gary will sit there and say that made his day.
You're okay,
that he's
Mike.
on him. Mike doesn't feel good, man. We're used to that. Maybe Mike will hopefully get better.
I hope he's going to be okay.
I hope he's going to be okay. But Rocky Romani, Brock Beach, and we're going to say goodbye now because now we're worried about Mike here and everything. Good thing we have 3 Bellwood tiles. to wipe off his sweat because he's getting upset here and everything. But for the now not feeling well, Mike Boydham, Andy Stine, our director, the Alfred Hitchcock, this week, I'm going to try to do a different director every week. We called him Spielberg last week. Our Alfred Hitchcock director, Dan Eisenberg. I'm Scott Franco. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.